Welcome to Exchange Rates UK TV. It is the 16th of August 2021. Looking at IoTeX here on, I think it's how you pronounce it. I'm not sure. It was added to Coinbase last week, and it's gotten a lot of attention. Just looking at it from the technical side, this is what's really sticking out to me is the weekly. Shifting the market to a bull market. The RSI levels that are overbought are 80 and 90. We're getting close to that 80 level, but so otherwise on the weekly chart, it's technically not overbought. Also, when you look at the Tenkan Sen and the Kijun Sen, they're pretty much the same value. You've got not pretty much, they are exactly the same value. Both are at 81.43, and price is not very far away from those. So there's no significant gap on the weekly chart between these two. Okay, so then I go over to the daily, and here, pretty much the same story. There is no gap between significant gap where the close is at in relation to the Tenkan Sen or the Kijun Sen. So it's trading at almost a fair value. It's on the 236 fib retracement, and it's on the Tenkan Sen and the Kijun Sen. So there's I really see it traveling lower. I see it coming down to test probably the second high volume node down here between 5.5 and 6.5 cents. But that doesn't mean it's going to, because it could hang out up here and establish a pretty good support zone. Because if that volume profile fills in fairly quickly over this week, then that'll be a very telling sign that the 8 to 9 cent range is the next major support zone. There are some things that would yield some validity to that. And that is especially true when we look at the composite index. Now, when you look at the RSI, everything looks fine. Okay, with the exception of the reaction to the extreme overbought conditions that occurred. Otherwise, you see price action making higher lows, and the RSI is printing higher lows. But they're not printing higher lows in the composite index. Instead, what we've got is a divergence here. And in this case, we can look at it from the RSI to the composite index. So let's make this a little bigger. So if I look at these troughs compared to these troughs, all right, lower lows, higher lows. That is hidden bullish divergence. That is the kind of stuff you want to see if something corrects in a bull market. You want to see hidden bullish divergence show up, because that is usually the precursor to the resumption of the prior uptrend. Now, there's other things that really should be in there to confirm it, but the percent beat coming off of 0.8, and it's still kind of like hanging around on top of that, which is that can be good and bad. But how low does the composite index need to be before it's proved that it's very much overdone in the short term as far as the selling pressure is concerned? Really hard to tell, because everything here is still in price discovery mode, and so whatever the rest of the market does, IoTeX, like any other altcoin, is going to be heavily affected by it. Something that we should pay attention to is the dramatic drop in volume and interest. Certainly, with the exception of today. Today's volume is higher than Saturdays and Sundays, and if it keeps up this way, it'll be higher than Fridays as well. But otherwise, volume's kind of dried up here, and the old saying, "Volume precedes price," meaning that if prices are moving up and then volume drops. Usually that means in the near future, you're going to see falling prices. That doesn't mean that's going to happen here, but at least when I'm looking at the price chart, Ichimoku wise, the only support level that exists here is at 0.08428. That's the last level of support on the daily chart. And if it goes below that, it's another trip south. The only support that exists below there is you got the 382 at 0.063 and cents, and then you've got the 50% Fibonacci level, the top of prior top of the cloud there. Never mind what I said about the top cloud, doesn't matter anymore. Did last week, but then you've got the high volume node here, just above that 50% fib retracement. I think that's a likely zone to get back to. I mean, for me, if I'm bullish and I'm long on this and I want to add, I want it to retrace anyways, and I would love to see a pretty standard 50% retracement and support to be found there along with that high volume node. That would be great. But until that happens, good time to just kind of wait and see how it plays out. Thank you all for watching. From All the State Exchange Rates UK TV, please don't forget to like and subscribe.